You're live.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Pflugerville. I am Tommy Messenger, the board president, and I have the privilege to come and visit with y'all today. I would like to talk about friendship. There was an article that we put in the newsletter this week. There's no test, there's no homework. You won't be kept after, even if you misbehave, you're still all right. And it's just live it every day of your life, friendship. The friendship we form as religious significance, after all, our friends help shape our character and influence our choices. Friends can accompany us through moral and spiritual perils, just as Jesus Christ's disciples accompanied him. While friendship shouldn't involve unconditional approval of actions, it should involve seeing others as Jesus sees us. Jesus shared this lesson not long before his death, according to the Bible. In doing so, we give the ultimate example of friendship. He loved with complete grace and generosity. In John 15:13, greater love has no man than this, that the man lay down his life for his friend. How true that is. Today I want to start my little talk over here as children. Children, it's very easy for them to start friendships. Everyone knows that when your kids come home from school, you know, my little friend Joey was, can he come over tonight, or can we have a stay over? Can he have supper with us? That's unheard of, that we don't pick friends like that, but automatically they come home with these kids, or your kids goes to their house, and it's a friendship that develops. Some of them last amazing for years. My daughter had a friend down the street, Paula, and Paula would have dinner with us 2, 3, 4 times a week. Well, to this day, my daughter, Donna, who is now 55 years old, Paula is still her friend. That friendship has been over the years. All of us don't have a whole lot of friends, but we always have a couple of them that are very dear to us. They're as close as family to us. We can call on them to do whatever we need to do, whenever we need it. They're there. That's the friendship that we need to understand. Early friendship can have more than one. You can have more than one friend, you know. Now, whether your other friends like each other is a different story, but you can have more than one friend. And that's also important, because you create a bond of spiritual people, a group. We got friendships from our existing church, that these guys at church, we formed a maintenance department and to service the church. But it developed into, well, let's meet up and go fishing on a weekend. So we would go fishing, or we would go to the hill country in the fall and watch football and canoe down to Guadalupe. That's what friendship's all about. It's not staying in your little world. Let's get out there and expand. So it's pretty wild. Do friendships have to be one color? What do you think? Yes, no, maybe?
Did you say color?
Color. It has to be one color. Can you have a brown friend, white friend, yellow friend, green friend, red friend? There's no color in that. And you look at children in the schoolyard, there's no color out there. They're all together. They're playing together. We ought to be more like children. I think that children are the closest thing to God before they grow up and become like us. They're very innocent, they're non-judgmental, they accept everybody as is. It's amazing. Can animals be your friend?
Sure.
How many have animal friends? Everybody has an animal. Mark, you don't have an animal friend?
No.
Well, you know our RJ.
Yeah.
There again, that's a friendship that is very strong to most people because they love their pets. And it's part of life that pet helps you in different situations. When you're down and out, that dog or cat will always be there just to help you out, to fit her things. And is this friendship only local? So is it just your schoolmates? Is it just your neighborhood? Is it just your church? No, friendships go all around the world. Miss Ann said she met a guy when she was walking in Spain that watched over her, and they visited for 500 miles. And they became friends. She went back and visited with him and his family. That's what it's all about. It's not closed mind, not focus on straight ahead. You got to look for that friendship. And I don't have to tell you, that's your friend and that's not your friend. You pick that. You know how to judge people and what it's all about. It's just like this congregation here. I consider you all my friends. Whether you like me or not, you're still my friend. I'm here to help serve you. I've always told MJ, we're never going to be the richest kid on the block, but we're going to be the happiest. And that's how I live my life, and that's how they live, helping others, developing friendships. And that's what it's all about. Can you share a friend?
Sure.
Yeah. We do it all the time. This congregation especially. They meet everybody that comes in that door. That's part of a friendship. We call people. People call us for prayers. I mean, it's amazing how easy it is to have friendship. And you don't even have to work hard at it. You can just move along and get along. I have friends. Randy's a good friend of mine. We don't always get along. But it's overlooked. Okay, we compromise, we move on. We don't lose that friendship. Sometimes we have to butt heads a little bit, but that makes it interesting, that friendship. You can't go along just flatlining. You gotta have a little hiccup in there, just to enjoy the life in there. Friendship helps shape your character. Is that true or false?
True.
True. Do you realize that you're shaping somebody else's character?
You do when they argue with you.
That's part of it. That's part of the shaping, because a lot of times you have that discussion and that light goes off. Hey, maybe I wasn't right on that. Maybe that was the way to look at it. It doesn't take much effort, but you got to keep an open mind, and that's the big part of being friends. I have many friends. I have 2 or 3 close friends, and they're closer as close as family. Friendship helps shape our characters. Business persons, firefighters, teachers, everybody does it.
You left out the astronaut.
The astronaut. The astronaut.
We want to think big.
There's the astronaut there. Anyways, the astronaut, to become the best can be in life. These guys, the people that take care of people that are in rescue, military, all these people, police, fire, everybody helps. They have friends every day. They don't have sometimes a very dangerous life, but most of the time they're there to help and serve. I look at my friendship with people will never end. I have friends now, but I hope to gain more as we go on. And as this church grows, so does my friendship grow. The deal is with life, You can't live a sheltered life. You gotta get out there as Jesus did, touch somebody's life, help somebody out. Whether you get rewarded or not, the reward is what you feel and hear as you help somebody. That's what life's all about. Get up every day, make an affirmation of who can I help today, and then go for it. It'll show up. You don't have to look for it. It'll show up one way or the other, whether it's helping carry that lady's grocery out of the grocery store or open the door. All that helps. That's about all I have. Do you have any questions of friendship? Am I considered your friend?
Yes.
Yes, sometimes.
You're gonna have to pay her more money.
Hey, I
So, this really, when you talked about the kind of category of work, church, those places where we're not at home and where we're out in the world and we've entrusted others with a certain part of our well-being. And I especially think I've been at Dell for it'll be 28 years this June. And I think about like when you did your meditation and you talked about all those people that you've been friends with, and even just at work within that almost 28 years, I've encountered so many people. And it just touched my heart in thinking about how their sense of care for me, their sense of wanting me to be okay, wanting me to be well, the different people that have showed up to help me to do my job. I couldn't be successful if it weren't for others. Whether it was this church, whether it's my work family, whether it's my people who are just casual friends, that trust that we give each other and that willingness to be there. A summer where our air conditioner breaks down and I call you and you're there, like you were so far away, but you were there in an hour and a half to come help us with the AC. And then another time when it was time to replace the AC, and you had told me, okay, this is gonna happen, call me, and you helped us get a new AC. And it's like, we thrive in life because of our friendships. We don't thrive in our lives just because of ourselves. And those are people that God's put in our lives. And so this just really meant a lot to me that you had this topic, because it really makes me grateful for all of the people in my life who've helped me to become the best that I can be.
Let me ask you a question. When you started in a new school or a new job, were you comfortable or were you very uncomfortable? You knew nobody there. You walk into a business or you walk into that elementary or high school, you don't know what's going to happen. That feeling of unrest and you need to find somebody to friend with. Well, there's other people that are in the same boat that's starting that school. And I think this is what develops friendships, because you find that person that's uncomfortable like you, and you latch onto each other and they help you, you help them, just like a job or anything else. You walk into an office, you don't know anybody in an office, but that's your new job. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go sit in that corner and just hide? Or are you going to get out there and visit with everybody that's there to help you out, you to help them out? It's very important. It's a two-way street. Is that you got to, once you give, you expect to receive, and that's what happens on friendships. They do. Any questions? Go ahead.
I don't have a question, but relating to what Valerie is saying, I've had friends since I've been 6 years old. Still have those friends throughout my life. We've been through marriages, we've been through divorces, we've been through babies, we've been through the loss of loved ones. And sometimes those people can touch your heart more so than a sister or a brother. in a special way, in a different way. You know if you're called in the middle of the night and someone has lost their significant other, and they say, I really need you here. You're gonna get up and you're going to go if God is willing that at that point in time you're able to do so. These are the people that show up in our lives that makes such a difference in our lives and makes our life more fulfilled. And we all should thank God daily for not just our family, our co-workers, but our friends, because they are very special. And without those friends, I don't think we are a complete whole person.
Very good. Any other questions?
I was gonna say, my sisters are my best friends. You know, and well, you know, sisters, we can't fight. We fought a lot when we grew up. Oh gosh, we fought a lot. But gosh, they're the people I call. My two sisters that are still here. They're the best.
And yet you overcome the conflicts as young sisters fight, and now you're closer than ever.
Yeah, we laugh about it because, oh gosh, we were horrible. But, yeah, they're my best friends.
But your best friends are the same way. You may fight with them, and then 2 days later, you're back to being buds. You know.
I can attest to that. I had a friend I worked with, and she was smart in accounting, but I'd been working in this software for some time, and she'd get so mad at me. She'd storm upstairs in the office. You just think you know everything. You think you're always right. I'd storm right up them stairs behind her and shut the door and say, we need to talk. Once we talked, I'd go back downstairs. An hour later, here comes flowers. I love you. I'm sorry. What would I do without you? Those are special friends.
So, in closing, everybody needs to find a new friend that you haven't had time with, whether it be at work, whether it be at school, whether it be in your neighborhood. How many know their neighbors? That's good. You should know your neighbors. You should be able to help those people out. Too many people today don't even know their neighbors. You know, what happens if something happens? You're there to help them. Or something happens to you, they're there to help you. So it's a world that everybody has to live to get along. You know, that's what it's all about. God loves you. I love you. And I hope you're my friend. Thank you.